Did you know our Earth is over 4.5 billion years old? That's older than your granny's granny, and even older. Imagine, if each year was a single step, you'd have to take 4.5 billion steps to travel back to when Earth was born. Now that's a lot of steps, isn't it? Our Earth holds a special place in our solar system, third from the Sun, and it's the only planet we know of that's teeming with life. From the tiniest ant to the largest blue whale, from the tallest redwood tree to the smallest blade of grass, life is everywhere. And all of this life is possible because of Earth's unique features. Earth is not too hot, not too cold, just right for us, and it's filled with air we can breathe, and water we can drink. It's our very own Goldilocks planet. So, if you're ready for a journey back in time, get your thinking caps on because we're about to dive into the fascinating story of our home, the Earth. Imagine a time when there were no trees, no animals, not even a single drop of water. This was what the Earth looked like when it was first formed. Our home, the Earth, wasn't always as beautiful and vibrant as we see it today. Around 4.5 billion years ago, there was a vast, almost endless space filled with nothing but gas and dust. This might sound like a scene from a science fiction movie, but it's actually the beginning of the story of our planet. This cloud of gas and dust wasn't just floating around aimlessly, no sir. It was swirling and twirling, moving faster and faster. And as it spun, it started to flatten out and form a disc shape. Now you might be wondering what caused all this spinning and shaping? Well, it was the force of gravity. Gravity, that invisible force that keeps us grounded, was crucial in the birth of our planet. It pulled the dust and gas together, causing it to clump up and form larger and larger pieces. It's a bit like when you're building a sandcastle, gathering up all the sand to make your towers and walls. Over time, these clumps of dust and gas grew bigger and bigger, eventually forming what we call planetesimals. These planetesimals collided and merged, growing even larger until one day, one of them became big enough to be called a planet. And that planet was our Earth. But the Earth wasn't the blue and green sphere we know today. It was a hot, rocky mass covered in molten lava. It took millions of years for the surface to cool down and form a solid crust, and even more time for water to appear and life to begin. But that's a story for another time, and thus, from a cloud of dust and gas, our Earth was born. Did you know our Earth wears a coat? It's not a fancy coat, but a really important one. It's called the Earth's crust. Imagine you're peeling an apple. The thin peel on the outside? That's a bit like the Earth's crust. It's the outermost shell of our planet, the part we live on. Now it may seem like a simple peel or a coat, but the Earth's crust is actually a complex structure, made up of different types of rocks. Some are light and fluffy like a sponge cake, others are as hard as a diamond, but all of them together create a protective shield, safeguarding us from the intense heat and pressure underneath. This shield doesn't just serve as a barrier though, it also supports life as we know it. It's where we find soil to grow our food, minerals to build our homes, and water to quench our thirst. Without the crust, our Earth would be a very different place. But here's something really mind-blowing. The Earth's crust is always on the move. It's broken up into huge pieces like a giant jigsaw puzzle called tectonic plates. These plates shift and slide, creating mountains, valleys, and even causing earthquakes. It's a dynamic, ever-changing shield, constantly reshaping the world we live in. Dive a little deeper, and you'll find that the crust is not uniform. It's thicker in some places, thinner in others. The thickest parts form the continents, the land masses we live on, while the thinner parts underlie the oceans. This variation in thickness is one of the reasons why we have both land and sea on our planet. So the next time you step outside, take a moment to appreciate the ground beneath your feet. Remember that you're standing on a protective shield, a dynamic and life-supporting layer that's constantly on the move. It's more than just dirt and rocks. It's a testament to the incredible planet we call home. In essence, the Earth's crust is like a superhero's shield, always protecting us. Now let's fast forward a few billion years to a time when the first life forms began to appear on Earth. Imagine a world where the oceans are teeming with tiny single-celled organisms. These are the very first life forms, so small that you would need a microscope to see them. These tiny life forms, known as prokaryotes, were the first to call Earth their home, living and thriving in the planet's oceans. As time went on, these simple creatures evolved, becoming more complex. They developed into what we call eukaryotes, organisms with cells that have a nucleus. This was a big step in the evolution of life because it paved the way for the development of more complex organisms. Soon, these eukaryotes began to join together, forming multicellular organisms. Life in the ocean started to become more diverse. There were creatures with shells, creatures with tentacles, and even creatures that could swim. Eventually, some of these aquatic creatures began to venture onto land. They evolved to breathe air instead of water, and to walk on land instead of swimming in the ocean. These were the first land-dwelling animals, the ancestors of all the land animals we see today. From there, life continued to evolve and diversify. Plants began to cover the land, providing food and shelter for the animals. Dinosaurs roamed the earth, then mammals took over. Slowly but surely, life evolved into the rich tapestry of species we see today. And then, after billions of years of evolution, came the arrival of humans. We are the latest chapter in this incredible story of life's evolution. From single-celled organisms in the ocean to complex creatures walking on two legs, life on Earth has come a long way. And that, my friends, is how life as we know it evolved on Earth. So now you know how the Earth was born and how life evolved. But what about the history of the Earth itself? Well, let's dive right into it. Picture this. Over 4.5 billion years ago, our Earth was just a ball of hot molten rock. But as it cooled down, a solid crust formed, setting the stage for the continents we know today. At first, these landmasses were all huddled together in a supercontinent called Pangaea. Can you imagine that? All the continents we know today were once one big landmass. But nothing stays the same forever, right? Over hundreds of millions of years, Pangaea slowly broke apart due to the movement of Earth's tectonic plates. This is how we ended up with the 7 continents of today: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. Now let's turn our attention to something cooler: the Ice Ages. There have been several ice ages in the Earth's history, the most recent one ending around 11,000 years ago. During these periods, massive glaciers covered large parts of the Earth, making it a much chillier place than it is today. And who can forget about the dinosaurs? These giant creatures ruled the Earth for over 160 million years before they suddenly disappeared. Many scientists believe that a giant asteroid hitting the Earth around 65 million years ago caused their extinction. In the grand scheme of things, humans have only been around for a blink of an eye. We, Homo sapiens, have been on Earth for roughly 200,000 years. That's just a tiny fraction of Earth's history, but oh boy, have we made our mark or what? Through all these events, our Earth has stood the test of time, providing a home for countless species of plants and animals, including us. Now that we've taken a tour of our Earth's history, let's see how much you remember. Get ready because it's quiz time. I'll ask a question and give you 3 options. Try to pick the right one. Here we go. Question 1. What was the event that led to the birth of Earth? Was it A, the Big Bang, B, the solar flare, or C, the lunar eclipse? Question 2. What is the protective shield around our Earth called? Is it A, the ozone layer, B, the crust, or C, the mantle? Question 3. How did life evolve on Earth? Was it A, through magic, B, gradually over millions of years, or C, instantly? And finally, question 4. What's the most important thing we learned about Earth's history? Is it A, dinosaurs ruled, B, ice ages were cool, or C, Earth needs our care? Well done, Earthlings. You've just completed your journey through Earth's history. Remember, our Earth is a precious home that needs our care and protection.